Hey guys, what's going on? How's everybody doing? I'm Johnny Anthony. You're watching Chair Shot Sports, a drive to the top production. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just want to get right ahead of it. I apologize if I sound hoarse. I'm a little nasally. I'm getting over a cold this weekend, so I didn't want to not do a show. So this is gonna be a little bit of an abbreviated kind of show, but I definitely did not want to talk after last week, and we're only weeks away from Bash in Berlin. Definitely want to talk about Raw and SmackDown last week and jump into that. So let's talk about it. So last Monday night, awesome coming off of SummerSlam. Amazing show. Couple weeks out, obviously very short turnaround time going into Bash in Berlin. So we started off good. Gunther comes out talking. Now he was on my bingo card. I had a lot of other people. We ran a poll on X. A lot of other people that were going to come out. One of them was not going to be over from the Blue Brand, was going to be the RKO master, Randy Orton. Came out, and I'm like, oh, great. My eyes started twitching. I started getting PTSD. I had a very vivid flashback to the wild card rule. Now all of a sudden we're going to start doing this kind of thing. And unbeknownst to me, which I'm sure a lot of people did remember once he started talking, if you think back to King of the Ring, that was when, obviously, very plain in sight, the cameras were able to catch it. Corey Graves was making sure to talk about it on commentary. Randy Orton was not pinned 1, 2, 3. Gunther was still given the championship. And we just moved on, kind of swept under the rug and went on from there. Obviously, here we go. Who's going to challenge Gunther? Well, there's pretty much a full stacked up locker room on the Red Brand. No. Randy Orton makes a phone call, calls Triple H, talks about the travesty that was the 1, 2, 3 at King of the Ring, with Gunther becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. So Randy's cashing in. So Bash in Berlin, we have your World Heavyweight Championship match of Gunther versus Randy Orton. Good back and forth between the two. Gunther calling himself already a living legend. Randy obviously already being like, listen, bro, I've made a living off of killing legends, so let's go. Let's bring it on. So that's going to be an amazing match. The other part of the biggest thing going on in Raw right now, I feel like the New Day and the Final Testament are kind of cooling off a little bit. The Bronson Reed incident was Seth Rollins. Phenomenal. Like, great way to send Seth Rollins out for a little bit with a chronic injury. He needs to nurse a little bit for a couple weeks. Obviously, he's gonna miss Bash of Berlin. You want him nice and healthy going into Survivor Series in November, or even for Bad Blood also in October. So we go to the Judgment Day, New Judgment Day, however you want to call it, the Terror Twins, New Judgment Day. It's coming out today that apparently there's word out there. There's no trademarking news, but there's word of rebranding, quote unquote, the Judgment Day. And apparently the name coming out, and I'd like to know the source. I feel like this was given out by somebody to go to the dirt sheets, so they heard this, and that kind of people started running with this, was Street Trash. It's supposed to be the new name for JD, Liv, Dom, and company. It's supposed to be Street Trash. I highly doubt, unless Triple H got taken out of power over the past couple of days, that is going to be the name. It's some VKM a la new name stuff, or maybe they'll just call them Judgment, because we want to go down to the one names with a lot of people and crews that were coming out with Vince and Kennedy McMahon. So obviously Damian comes out, talks his trash to Finn, talks his trash to the group. Bunch of cowards, this and that, never needed him. He knows where he came from. So Finn pretty much comes on and says, listen, you were nothing. You were nobody. We never needed you. You needed us. And, we're going to be fine without you. No leaders, no egos, which is kind of productive to what he's doing right now. But I feel like that was a great promo, again, back and forth. I feel like the biggest thing that was missing a lot of times when these things happened were the promos. They were flat, just saying, reading off the paper, making sure you hit the bullet points, and there we go, and then we go to commercial. Obviously, Priest is mostly involved in this, being with them for so long. Priest and Rhea being two of the OGs of the Judgment Day, with Finn, and then all these other guys started trickling in. But anyway, nonetheless, Finn says, "You don't get me, you're going to get McDonough tonight." So McDonough and Priest is your main event for Raw. Obviously you knew something was going to happen, nefarious at the end of this. Match is going back and forth. Pretty much at the end, it ends up being with the Judgment Day just giving the boots to Priest in the middle of the ring. He fights off, and then JD, I believe, gives him the knee chop. And here comes Dom. Here comes Liv getting involved. And all of a sudden, mommy's music hits. Boom. Here comes Rhea Ripley running down to the ring, doing an amazing, amazing job clearing the ring. Gives the headbutt to McDonough. McDonough gets the choke slam. And then I want to talk about the Bash and Berlin card a little bit, but I want to talk about the shows first because obviously a couple of matches have already been named. So Bash and Berlin now was announced over the weekend. That's going to be Team Liv versus Team Rhea. Obviously with Rhea will be Damian Priest. With Liv Morgan will be Dominic Mysterio. So that was pretty much Raw wrapped up in a nutshell. Not really a lot of stuff with Braun. Had his little match. Not a lot of nice filler stuff. Made sense. It was good to see. SmackDown, on the other hand, SmackDown was an amazing show this past Friday. And obviously, a lot of people were sitting here bated breath. If you bought a ticket, if you're sitting in the arena, you're waiting for Roman Reigns to hit his music to come down to the ring. Start off, we get Cody. Cody in the Bloodline segment goes back and forth. Cody pretty much about to announce who he wants to face next for the Undisputed Championship. Out comes Solo in the Bloodline. So pretty much saying, listen, don't think so. You're going to face me. I almost had you. You're giving me a title shot. They're about to hit the ring to hurt Cody. Boom, here comes Kevin Owens with a chair, neutralizers, and they kind of hit the ground, walk away, and there it goes. Now, before we'll go to commercial. We call it a day before Kevin Owens goes to the back. Cody says, no, come back in real quick, man. I want to talk to you for a second. And he's like, listen, man, I was talking about before these guys came out about someone that's deserving and someone that I want to face at Bash in Berlin for this Universal Championship, and I want it to be you. And he said, I know you're going to say no. And Kevin has never been a one. Face Kevin. Heel Owens will take anything he can get. Face Kevin will never take something. He'll never take a handout. He'll never take a gimme. So in true form, obviously he says, I don't deserve it. The way I've been wrestling the past year, which is very true. 100% of that is true. No word of a lie. So he's like, listen, I'm not doing it. I don't want it. And Cody's like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go talk to all this. It's going to happen anyway. So you might as well just take the shot. Okay. I was like, nah, man, I don't want it. I don't want it. So that's it. He gets out of the ring. Okay. Cody's like, all right, I'm going to the back. I'll see you then. So we go to that. And obviously next thing you know, Cody's in the back talking to Nick Aldis. Both men are talking about opportunities, things like that. Kevin pretty much saying, listen, there's a lot of guys in that locker room that deserve it. He's like, hell, it's been 10 years. I haven't gotten my rematch for the Undisputed title. I never lost. Ergo, that's where Nick Aldis is like, well, I think the person I want to see that goes for this title is right in front of me. And talking about being deserving and talking about not getting a given rematch you should have gotten. It's to you. So at Bash in Berlin, it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes. So that is going to be your WWE Undisputed title match, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes. So already got 3 matches planned for the 3 matches planned so far for the PLE in Berlin. Obviously, SmackDown was awesome. A lot of stuff going on. The ending was the greatest, best part of it. Solo comes out. They can't find Roman. They've been looking around all day. Tama Tonga, like, listen, we can't find him. We don't know where he is. And so I was like, he'll be here. And he goes on the ring, pretty much calls him out. You want these? Come get them. You want a piece of me? Come on out. And obviously, his music hits. Solo sends the henchman. He gets into the ring, gets his hands a little bit on Solo, but then Tama Tonga gets his hands on him. Obviously, those two being out with Jacob Fatu still selling the leg injury that he got at SummerSlam. So I think he should be back next week or the week after because you want to keep Fatu away from Reigns. You don't want that to happen until you're ready for that because those two are going to be explosive with each other. That is going to be an awesome encounter when it does happen. Maybe it happens at Bash in Berlin. I think it finally happens at Survivor Series when we get the Civil War that I've been talking about for a couple months. But there's no need to rush anything. Like I said last week, there's no reason to rush any of this. You're in cruise control as far as what I mean by that is you're in cruise control with the story, right? You can make it go left. You can make it go right. You can put the brakes on it. You can accelerate it. You have this locked in. Whatever the goal is for WrestleMania 41, they already know what it is. I think we all have kind of an idea what one of the main events is going to be for night 1 or 2, right? So you want to, okay, let's get through that. Let's push this match up. We can accelerate this feud, go through here, all this other stuff. But the parts are there. You just need to plug and play and just figure out the rest pretty much of your card, what you're going to build around for 41 and for Survivor Series, your Rumble, your Elimination Chamber, stuff like that. But again, when Fatu and Reigns finally get see eye to eye in that ring, it's going to be amazing. So Reigns gets the Superman punch on Tonga Tonga, on Tonga Loa, hits the spear, which was awesome. Obviously, Solo's over on the ramp. You want this, come get it. You want me, come get it. That's kind of how we go off. I was going to keep Solo away from him for a while, probably till Bash in Berlin. I would imagine somehow he gets his hands on Solo in the. I don't know if it's in a match, but it's definitely at the pay-per-view or maybe the Friday before Berlin, whatever Solo or any of the Bloodline are doing at that PLE. So with that being said, I want to talk about Raw. I want to talk about SmackDown because, like I said, so we have Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, WWE Undisputed Championship match. We have Gunther and we have Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship match. Team Rhea, Team Liv, including Dom and Priest for the just pretty much a grudge match. So it takes care of both your main shows titles. Takes care of both the women's titles. I'm sorry, the one title on Raw. Don't think Nia is going to do anything at this PLE. Maybe a tag match or something with Bailey and Naomi versus versus Tiffany and Nia on SmackDown. That would take care of your women's championship, so that doesn't have to be defended. So that kind of leaves the two mid-card titles for Raw and for SmackDown, right? Let's start over on Raw. So on Raw tonight, you have Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, which I think this is going to be back on USA. You want people to tune in. The 2 out of 3 falls match, it's already been talked about as being the main event. So you're talking about at least a 40-minute match. There's no way they do this half hour or less. There's no way, especially in the Triple H era. So you're looking at least 40, 45 minutes of these two going back and forth. It's going to be a great match. Braun walks away, but I think this is where Sammy kind of gets the swan song. Like he's like, listen, I beat you in a rematch. You're done. You don't get any more chances. I do think there's an outlier. So the two people I think that he's going to face, meaning Braun Breaker for the IC title, he wins tonight, and I think it's either going to be Ilya Dragunov or Bronson Reed. Now, Bronson Reed, I believe, was fined heavily by Adam Pearce. I don't know if he's suspended. That much I don't know. So if he is, please put it in the comments, correct me. I don't think he's suspended tonight. So he will be in the arena. And we all know those suspensions don't mean anything in the WWE, especially away from arena for a week. But he was definitely fined heavily. I know that. So Ilya is definitely a chance for him to jump into the match, do something where maybe he costs Braun a pin. Maybe he's up one pin and Ilya does something, costs him another pin. Or Ilya tries to get involved and Braun still wins, even in the face of that. Then you have Bronson Reed, because maybe there's a 1-2, maybe there's a 1-2-3. Braun wins. Braun's exhausted. Maybe Sammy hits another haluva kick, just leaves Braun laying. And here comes Bronson Reed. Comes down, hits a couple tsunamis, takes Braun, a lot of bees here. Takes Breaker out. Probably next week to not have him on the show. And then we have him the week after. We put them in a contract, and Braun's saying he wants him. I think Ilya or Bronson Reed are great picks. Either one of those guys I think would be great following the Sami Zayn rivalry. I think guys are very deserving. Ilya would be, I think, great. But I think Bronson Reed deserves it. He was in the title picture for a long time. It was him. It was Chad Gable. Still Sammy. A lot of people were going for that belt. So I think it's very deserving for Bronson Reed. I think he's paid his dues. I think he's deserved, whether it's a win or loss. I think it's still going to be a loss, even though it's Bronson Reed. I think he still takes the L. But again, I think someone interferes, and that's how they're kind of going to protect Breaker for a little bit against these big dudes. I think Bronson Reed is due for a big push. I think with Seth going out there, like, how are we going to do this? Well, let's put mad heat on Reed and have him kind of start elevating, because the guy's due, man. He's paid a lot of dues. He was awesome in NXT, went out for a while. He got fired, got brought back, went down for NXT for a minute, was on Raw, done a lot of things on Raw, and that was big Bronson Reed. Kind of was just eating L's left and right, got hot, caught fire in the IC title hunt, never got to the top. Now, again, he could be being put back into it. I don't think the win is at Berlin, but I definitely think a win is coming from down the road. Because I think eventually, sometime in 2025, you're going to see him, whether it's on Raw or he gets somehow drafted over to the Blue Brand. You do see a world heavyweight champion run, or I should say a world title run, whether it's blue or red, to Bronson Reed in 2025. And then, of course, we have the megastar. Yeah, LA Knight, your new United States champion. Should do that having a cold. Script the voice. Oh, obviously, Santos Escobar won his qualifier this past Friday night against Andrade. Now this doesn't mean anything to me. This means nothing over on SmackDown. They've done these things where people win the contender match, and then next thing you know, the week after, like, well, you should put your contendership on the line and put them in a triple threat, fatal four-way, battle royal on a pole match. It doesn't, whatever they want to do. These number one contender things don't matter to me. The qualifiers, I guess. Like, who's to know this upcoming Friday something's happened to Santos, and then Andrade keeps beating the hell out of Santos or does something to LA Knight. Now it's a triple threat. You know what I mean? So, but I think Santos and LA Knight is the way to go. I think they got their hands on each other down at NXT for a little bit as well. I think Knight might have already been called up. I'm not sure, but Santos is hot right now. I think you need to start pushing him, and even Andrade. I thought Andrade was going to win that match. Andrade, take a lot of L's. He came back. No, I'm sure there's a plan for him in place. It's probably going to be in 2025. But definitely deserving just as well as Santos. So yeah, that's how I think the card's going to shake out. Don't know if there's going to be any tag matches. I don't think there's any. I mean, again, anytime they go overseas like this, unless it's like a premiere, like a WrestleMania or Rumble, things like that, I don't see Rhodes or Gunther losing the belt. It's pretty much when they go over here, it's a very big glorified house show, for whatever country they're in or wherever they are putting on that show. It's glamorized, it's big, it's huge, it's awesome, but it's just really a house show, and the titles really don't change hands in them. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it working out. As far as the rest of the card, we're gonna have some prediction shows in regards to Bash in Berlin. Also, stay tuned. A lot of content coming out in the next week and a half. We have TNA Resurgence, AEW All In, a lot of prediction shows, a lot of stuff to talk about. Like I said, if it was for that, me sniffling every 3 seconds, I want to talk about AEW. I want to talk about what happened with between Danielson, Swerve, stuff like that. Probably gonna do a show later on in the week. I feel a little better, able to get through a comfortable 25 minutes, half hour. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, enjoy Raw tonight. I'm John Anthony. You can catch us on X. Join the 16,000 strong that already follow us. You also find us on YouTube. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, please shoot us a like, a subscribe, hit that bell. Weekly content at least once a week. Prediction shows, post pay-per-view coverages for AEW, TNA, WWE. We're all over it. So appreciate you guys watching. Again, John Anthony. This is Drive In Top Productions. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon.